Heritage. Be proud of it, for you will be its legacy. It's your responsibility to carry on and learn your heritage. Otherwise, it will be lost. These are the words of Kalingo, the famous writer of young adult fiction. A very good evening to one and all present here today. I am Dr. Anamika Purohit, Assistant Professor of English at Jai Hind College, Mumbai, and a team member of Kaash Foundation. On behalf of the Foundation, I warmly welcome you all to the World Heritage Week celebration. Kaash Foundation, a brainchild of Dr. Kaash Jadhav, is a Mumbai-based NGO that aims to empower citizens by offering them a chance to participate at the global level through the concepts of engage and perform, and also wishes to channelize the aspiring generation with hope and hope for the future. For this, the Foundation has identified the four verticals of E2H2, that is, education, environment, health, and heritage to initiate the journey of progress. The World Heritage Week initiative is being organized by Kaash Foundation Center for Academic and Professional Development in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, the Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. We have also received extremely encouraging remarks from the World Heritage Center, UNESCO, and we would like to read out the message that we have received from the director of the World Heritage Center, UNESCO, Mr. Rossler. The reference number for the letter is CLT/WHC/PSN/20/120. Dear Dr. Jadhav, thank you for your letter of 31 October 2020, by which you invited me to speak at the inaugural session of the World Heritage Week celebrations by Kaash Foundation on 19 November 2020. At the outset, I would like to congratulate you for the organization of the event in the framework of the World Heritage Week in India and the various projects undertaken by your foundation to protect and promote the heritage of Mumbai city. I have no doubt that it will promote significantly the values of shared heritage and engage young people in its protection and preservation. Unfortunately, due to prior commitments, I will not be available to attend the inaugural session. Allow me to reiterate my sincere appreciation for your work in enabling this event and your continued commitment towards the World Heritage Convention. These are the encouraging comments by Mr. Rossler, who is the Director of World Heritage Center, UNESCO. I also take the opportunity to read a few encouraging remarks by Ms. Jyoti Hosarkar, who is the Deputy Director of the World Heritage Center, Cultural Sector, United Nations. Congratulations on the initiative. The heritage of Mumbai is precious, and this is a valuable initiative. We also commend you for the initiative focused on youth. We would also encourage you to consider inviting representatives or site managers from other World Heritage cities in India. Should you wish to consider proposing an event on World Heritage for the South Asia region or a global event at any time, we would be glad to look into potential collaboration from the World Heritage Center. Please do keep us posted on the outcomes of the event so we could report on it in our network and include links to any lectures on our website. All the best wishes for the event. These are some of the encouraging comments and appreciations that we have received from the World Heritage Center, UNESCO. I would like to now introduce you to a brief lineup of the events for the World Heritage Week celebration. Today, that is the 19th of November, we have the inaugural session that I would be introducing shortly. But before that, I would also like to give you an overview of some of the other interesting and fascinating events that are planned throughout the week. On the 20th of November, that is tomorrow, we have the 9th International Symposium on Heritage. On the 21st of November, we have an event known as Virasat, which is an evening to celebrate our intangible cultural heritage. On the 22nd of November, we have Model UNESCO Youth Summit, which is a youth summit on the lines of Model United Nations to discuss and deliberate on our tangible and intangible cultural heritage. On the 23rd of November, we have Hoje Dharohar, which is an international quiz competition on the UNESCO World Heritage Sites of the SAARC countries. On 24th of November, we have the 10th International Symposium on Heritage. And on the 25th, which is the final day marking our celebrations of the World Heritage Week, we have a historical visit to a historical site visit to the Kanheri Caves, Mumbai. I would like to take this opportunity to also introduce some of the other initiatives and past activities of the Kaash Foundation.
Anamika, I am really sorry to interrupt you. Our honorable ministers have some time constraints since we started late. Can we invite our guest of honor, and then we'll invite our chief guest immediately after that?
Sure.
And take up this later. Yeah.
So I would once again like to welcome our audience to the first day of the World Heritage Week celebrations, which would commence with the inaugural session. I would like to mention the names of our guest of honor and the keynote speaker, as well as our chief guest. I would first like to begin by sir, should I straight away begin with the inaugural address?
Yes, we'll invite Honorable Minister Thackerayji.
Thank you, sir. I'll just quickly, be a part of this because I have to run back to the cabinet meeting that's going on. So I apologize to everyone for this hurrying up with the program. But firstly, Honorable Minister of State for Tourism and Culture, Prahlad Singh Patelji, all the other dignitaries, Kaash Foundation, Kaash Yadav sir, thank you so much for organizing this webinar and bringing us together in this webinar, because the World Heritage Week is such an important message to the world about not just the past, but also the future of what we look at as in terms of history and today as a culture and civilization. Firstly, it's a great privilege to be a part of this and to be a title partner with the Kaash Foundation for the World Heritage Week and the webinar. Coming forth straight from a city that is Mumbai, where we've had different cultures coming together, mixing together, right from the Art Deco architecture to the Gothic to the Banganga to almost everything like the Kanheri Caves. I think it is something that we hold truly in great pride, not just for our city, but for the culture and the civilization that we represent. Of course, when we speak about Mumbai and when we speak about the city and the state of Maharashtra, we cannot forget the gateway of India. And from Mumbai, I cannot forget the gateway to India, because when we speak about our country at large and the heritage that we have given, not just within our country, not just in terms of architecture or civilization, we also have our footprints across different times of history, and we have a stamp across at least Southeast Asia in countries like Cambodia, which was also known as Cambodia, or Japan, or China, or Afghanistan, or even Pakistan and Afghanistan. These are countries which have had a certain impact from our country, be it in terms of Buddhism, be it in terms of architecture, trade, commerce, culture. There has been a shared past that we must take forward in thinking as what we give to our future generations. Of course, when I look at heritage as a minister for tourism, when I look at heritage as a minister for environment, and when I put both of them together, when COVID has actually questioned the very existence of human survival, I think it is very pertinent today to think of what our heritage or what the history of the future will be like. and that is in our hands. Of course, there are debates and talks when we speak about urbanization, when we speak about rural development, when we speak about infrastructure development. कभी कभी बातें करते हैं तो इसमें एक अहम चीज आती है, जैसे शहर जैसे मुंबई हो या पूना हो या कहीं और शहर है जैसे लखनऊ है, हेरिटेज को बहुत समय तक एक हर्डल करके देखा गया था. कुछ भी करने को जाए तो एक क्वेश्चन आता था, अरे लेकिन ये तो हेरिटेज साइट है, इसमें क्या हो सकता है, ये फ्लाईओवर बनाना लेकिन बीच में एक हेरिटेज साइट आ गई है, हेरिटेज एक फाउंटेन है, तो क्या कर सकते हैं. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि अगर आप जो भी देश, जो वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज हो या कोई भी देश, अगर आप जापान हो, चाइना हो, जहां जहां प्रोग्रेस हुई है, जहां जहां टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा दिया गया है, hand in hand with tourism and the history of that place. It has been in sync with that place and time. I think it's time for all of us, when we look at urban planning, when we look at infrastructure development, to look at how we can bring in this human element of our shared past, this human element that we called heritage or history. Because when we look at history or heritage, it simply is a dwelling or an imprint of the past or a generation of the past. It is not something that was created to be an obstacle to the future generations. Likewise, I think it is now time to heritage aspect, this whole cultural heritage, be it ecological heritage, be it literature heritage, all of this together, and how do we merge it in or weave it in with the present times that we live in today, and then call it development, or how do we progress future in the future with this. I think what is also important for us today is when we look at our today's times, when we look at globalization, when we also look at countries looking inward or outward, we also tend to forget that this globalization, which is of course a good thing and that should happen, the interactivity between countries around the world, between social countries around the world or societies around the world, it should definitely happen. But when this happens, when we develop a common language around the world, when we develop a common theme, a common architecture around the world, when we see glass facades around the world that are common, you can't differentiate a BKC from, say, Noida, from Canary Wharf, from New York. What are we really giving to the future? I think as we build the shared common today's of urban spaces, of rural life, what do we give to the future is something we need to focus on. Of course, like I said, my best wishes are with this Kaash Foundation, and as we go ahead, I'm going to actually be taking notes from this webinar. I'm going to excuse myself and keep myself to at least, taking notes and listening intently to all the experts, all the historians, all the teachers who will be speaking today, the professors who will be speaking, the archaeologists who will be speaking. But I would be really regretful and have to say this, that because of time constraints, I have been called into a cabinet meeting that has been going on and I have to perform my duty as a minister. I would have loved to speak and interact much more than this short address. But once again, I hope you will all excuse me and let me run back to the cabinet. My apologies, short. This is an area of my particular passion, of something that I obviously dabble with as an urban planner, as a minister for tourism. But I would have to keep myself short and run to the cabinet. Thank you. Jai Hind.
I'd like to thank Shri Aditya Thackeray, Honorable Minister of Tourism and Environment, Government of Maharashtra, for formally inaugurating the event and also collaborating with Kaash Foundation for the World Heritage Week celebration. Thank you for taking out the time, sir. I would now take the opportunity to invite our chief guest for the day, Shri Prahlad Singh Patel, Honorable Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, Government of India, and the Member of Parliament from Damoh Lok Sabha constituency in Madhya Pradesh, to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
काश फाउंडेशन मुंबई द्वारा वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज वीक 2020 के इस उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित इनका हम अभी भाषण सुन रहे थे, श्री आदित्य ठाकरे जी, पर्यटन एवं पर्यावरण मंत्री महाराष्ट्र। इसके जो भी और सहयोगी यहाँ पर उपस्थित हैं, उसमें बुद्धिस्ट मिशन जापान के श्री मेघनकर जी, श्री रेवंत विक्रम सिंह जी, विवेकानंद सांस्कृतिक केंद्र श्रीलंका, डॉक्टर नंदिनी भट्टाचार्य, रीजनल डायरेक्टर ASI, श्री भास्कर नटराजन, टाटा समूह, अश्विनी सक्सेना, CEO जिंदल स्टील, और जो इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य आयोजक हैं प्रोफेसर अवकाश जाधव जी और जो इस पूरे प्रोग्राम को कोऑर्डिनेट कर रही हैं प्रोफेसर अनामिका रोहित जी, और भी जो लोग यूट्यूब पर मेरी बात सुन रहे हैं और इसमें तमाम एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, टीचर्स हैं, उन सब के प्रति मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं। ये जो वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज वीक है, इसमें हम अपने आत्मावलोकन के लिए अपनी तैयारियां करते हैं। मैं भारत के पर्यटन और संस्कृति मंत्री होने के नाते ये बात जिम्मेदारी के साथ मैं कहूंगा कि भारत दुनिया में ऐसा देश है जिसके पास में जो भी हमें धरोहरों को हमारी मान्यता मिली है, चाहे वो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर मिली हो या हमने अपने देश के भीतर अपनी आइकनिक साइट्स के नाम पर उनको चिन्हित किया हो, मैं ये विश्वास के साथ कह सकता हूं कि जिनको ये मान्यता मिल गई है उनके बराबर के महत्व रखने वाले अभी ऐसे अनेक स्थान भारत की धरती पर हैं जिनको अभी मान्यता मिलना बाकी है। जब कभी हम अपनी धरोहरों को देखते हैं और दुनिया के वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज की सूची में लिखे हुए नामों को देखते हैं तो कई बार हमको तकलीफ भी होती है। मैं एक उदाहरण देना चाहता हूं कि चाहे अभी जयपुर को हेरिटेज सिटी का दर्जा मिला है, जब हमारे पास में यूनेस्को से सेक्रेटरी जनरल आई थी तो मैंने उनसे कहा था कि जो हमारी सप्त नगरियां हैं, दुनिया इस बात को मानती है कि वाराणसी दुनिया की सबसे प्राचीन, दुनिया की, भारत की नहीं, दुनिया की सबसे प्राचीन नगरी है, तो वाराणसी के समकक्ष हमारी सप्त नगरियां भी हैं। तो मैंने कहा था कि आप इसको एक यूनिट मानिए। जब कभी हम वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज की कल्पना करते हैं तो मैं पलटकर जब देखता हूं तो अब हम 2 साल में एक बार एक ही अपना नोट वहां पर आवेदन दे सकते हैं। ये जो कठिनाइयां हैं इनका भी हमें आकलन करना चाहिए। जब हम हेरिटेज की बात करते हैं तो वो हमारे अतीत का, हमारे अपने गौरव का एक प्रतिबिंब है, चाहे वो तोड़ा गया हो या वो सुरक्षित हो। लेकिन उसका जो टाइमलाइन है, उसकी जो शैली है कि उस समय भी 2000 साल पुराने या 3000 साल पुराने अगर कोई मंदिर, कोई किले हमको मिलते हैं तो ये हमारी पूर्वजों की प्रतिभा की सबसे बड़ा आईना है जिसको हम लोग दुनिया को दिखा सकते हैं। और इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे समय में हमारा मंथन बड़ा पारदर्शी होना चाहिए। मैं एक प्रार्थना जरूर करूंगा भारत सरकार के पर्यटन और संस्कृति मंत्री होने के नाते कि हम राज्य की सीमाओं में इसको ना देखें। अभी महाराष्ट्र में हमारे 5 ऐसे स्थान हैं जिनको विश्व धरोहर का दर्जा प्राप्त है। अजंता केव्स है, एलोरा केव्स है, आपका एलिफेंटा केव्स है, वेस्टर्न हमारे घाट्स हैं, विक्टोरिया गोथिक एवं आर्ट डिको है। लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी आज भी जो हमारे किले हैं वो किले उससे कम नहीं है, हमारी जो झील है वो उससे कम नहीं है। मैं अगर महाराष्ट्र की भी बात करूं, लेकिन मैं एक आग्रह जरूर करूंगा, यहाँ भी जितने एक्सपर्ट्स बैठे होंगे जो राज्य सरकार को भी का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं या अपनी संस्थाओं का करते होंगे, लेकिन वो इस बात को तो जानते हैं कि जब भी हम कभी कोई स्मारक के बारे में अपना दस्तावेज तैयार करते हैं उसमें कोई ना कोई एक यूनिवर्सल कोई समानता होनी चाहिए और ऐसे पेपर तैयार होने चाहिए। हमने अभी भारत सरकार की तरफ से तय किया है कि राज्य सरकार को बाकायदा हम फॉर्मेट भेजें। हम चाहते हैं कि देश के किसी भी राज्य से अगर हमें वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज की सूची में हमारा नाम जुड़ता है तो वो भारत का गौरव है, हमारी अपनी कला और संस्कृति का गौरव है। और इसलिए इन सप्ताह के बीच में हमें इस बात का मूल्यांकन भी करना चाहिए। मैं आपको आमंत्रित करता हूं, मैं इस बात के लिए आपको आमंत्रित करता हूं कि आपको लगता है भारत की सूची मत देखिए, हम तो अभी मानते हैं कि हमको अभी बहुत दूर तक जाना है जो हम क्षमता रखते हैं। जरा दुनिया के वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज की सूची में लिखे हुए नामों की तुलना में भारत की धरती पर ऐसे सैकड़ों स्थान आपको मिल जाएंगे जिनको आज से 40 साल 50 साल पहले ये दर्जा प्राप्त हो जाना चाहिए था। और इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि डिबेट इस लेवल पर होनी चाहिए, हमारी प्रतिस्पर्धा सकारात्मक हो और हम इतना तैयारियां करें कि दुनिया के नक्शे पर हमें वो विश्व की मान्यता मिलती है या नहीं मिलती है, लेकिन हम ये तो साबित करने का अधिकार रखते ही है कि हम ये तुलना कर सकें कि किसी देश के इस मॉन्यूमेंट की तुलना में इसी कला और का या उसी क्षेत्र का कोई मॉन्यूमेंट हमारे हिंदुस्तान की किसी राज्य में है, लेकिन वो उससे ज्यादा पैरामीटर्स को पूरा करता है। ये जरूरी है, और इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे सप्ताह मनाए जाने पर मैं इसमें, जैसे हमारे यहाँ एएसआई के ऑफिशियल्स भी इस बात को सुन रहे हैं, उनको पता है कि हमने इस बात की तैयारी शुरू की है। अभी मैं भारत सरकार की तरफ से 3 बातें आपके ध्यान में लाना चाहता हूँ। नंबर 1 कि हमने आर्कोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया ने री नॉमिनेशन की प्रक्रिया शुरू की है, री लिस्टिंग की प्रक्रिया भी शुरू की है कि हमारे जो मॉन्यूमेंट्स थे 3762, हम अब इसको बढ़ाना चाहते हैं। और मेरी मान्यता यह है कि हम 1000 साल 2000 साल पुराने कोई भी स्थान जो एएसआई की सूची में आने से वंचित हो गए हैं, उनको आने वाले समय में जब देश की आजादी के 75 वर्ष हो, तो भारत सरकार की एएसआई की सूची में वह नाम छूटा नहीं जाना चाहिए। एक एक स्थान भारत की सूची में, हमारे एएसआई की सूची में हो। ये सब आजादी के साथ, यदि कोई राज्य सरकार एएसआई को अपना मॉन्यूमेंट नहीं देना चाहती, तो हम उसकी बी कैटेगरी में उसको अधिकार देंगे। उस पर अमासरा का एक्ट लागू नहीं होगा, राज्य के नियम उस पर लागू होंगे, लेकिन वो पहली सूची में जरूर होगा, भारत सरकार की सूची में जरूर होगा, ताकि ये पता चल सके आने वाली पीढ़ी को कि भारत की धरती पर कितनी धरोहर विद्यमान है। दूसरी सूचना मैं ये देना चाहता हूं कि 100 साल पुरानी बहुत सारी वस्तुएं हम सबके घरों में होती हैं, लेकिन हम उसकी शायद कीमत नहीं कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि उसकी कीमत करने का नजरिया नहीं है। जैसा ठाकरे जी कह रहे थे कि एक समय हमारा मॉन्यूमेंट हमारे लिए संकट लगता था। शायद ये पुरानी वस्तुओं का संग्रहण, उनका रिकॉर्ड देने की शायद हमारी प्रवृत्ति में कहीं कमी दिखती है। मैं आप सबसे प्रार्थना करूंगा कि आपके घर में 100 वर्ष से पुरानी कोई चीज हो, उसका फोटोग्राफ्स डालिए, इसी वेबसाइट पर डालिए, और आप सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन करिए। आजादी तो तब है जब आप किसी को बेचना चाहे, बेचने की आजादी होगी, लेकिन नियम सिर्फ इतना ही है कि देश के बाहर बेचने के लिए अनुमति की जरूरत पड़ती है, लेकिन देश के भीतर अगर कोई 100 वर्ष पुराने प्रोसेसों को बेचना चाहता है तो देश के भीतर बेच सकता है। उसको सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन की जरूरत है, किसी अधिकारी के हस्तक्षेप से हमने इसको मुक्त किया है। तीसरी बात, मैं अभी 1 महीने के भीतर में 2 बड़ी उपलब्धियां मिली है। एक 40,301 मौर्य काल से लेकर वर्तमान पिछले 100 वर्षों के पहले तक के हमें 40,301 सिक्के वित्त मंत्रालय ने अभी सौंपे हैं। अब आप कल्पना करिए कि ये कितनी बड़ी संख्या। एक ऑस्ट्रेलियन उसको स्मगल करके ले जा रहा था, हमारी एजेंसियों ने उनको पकड़ा, मैं उनको बधाई देता हूँ। वित्त मंत्रालय ने वो फिर कोर्ट में चला गया, चीज हमारी उसने चोरी की, लेकिन वो मुकदमा चलता रहा, और 94 के बाद सारी कानूनी प्रक्रिया होने के बाद वित्त मंत्रालय ने वो संपत्ति मेरे माध्यम से एएसआई को दी है। अब मुझे लगता है कि इतने बड़े पैमाने पर चीजें हमारे पास हैं, और उसका रास्ता निकल रहा है कि हम विश्वविद्यालयों में, राज्य के संग्रहालयों में, हमारे राष्ट्रीय संग्रहालयों में, क्या हम मौर्य काल से लेकर इस पूरे टाइमलाइन के सिक्कों को दिखाकर आने वाली पीढ़ी को नॉलेज दे सकते हैं, हम लोन पर दे सकते हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि इन पर भी चर्चा होनी चाहिए। हम जब वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज की बात करते हैं तो सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं कि कोई स्थान हमको उपाधि के तौर पर मिल गया है, बल्कि हमको ये भी तय करना होगा कि हम क्या करना चाहते हैं। और आखिरी बात है, उसको मैं कहकर शायद अपनी बात खत्म करूंगा, मैंने ये भी कहा कि कल्चरल मैपिंग होनी चाहिए। हम सिर्फ धरोहरों में ये मानते हैं कि जो निर्माण किए गए भवन है वही हमारी धरोहर है। जी नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि कोई 7 पीढ़ियों से, कोई 10 पीढ़ियों से, कोई 20 पीढ़ियों से अपने संगीत की परंपरा को कायम रखे हुए है, लेकिन उसका शायद संगीत नाटक अकादमी में कहीं लिस्ट में नाम नहीं है। मैं उदाहरण के लिए बहुत छोटी चीज कहता हूँ, तंबूरा बजाने वाला जो महाराष्ट्र में यात्राएं होती हैं उसमें वो कंधे पर टांग कर बजाते जाते हैं, होंगे जो शायद न जाने कितनी पीढ़ियों से कर रहे हो, हमने उनको कभी लिस्टेड नहीं किया। जो कल्चरल मैपिंग है, उस कल्चरल मैपिंग में इस बात को स्थान दिया गया है। यदि ऐसी कोई परंपरा है जो संगीत की सूची में शायद ना लाई गई होंगी, किसी अकादमी ने उसको मान्यता ना दी होगी, किसी संस्था ने शायद उसको नजरअंदाज किया होगा, लेकिन क्या हम उसे अपने मोबाइल के कैमरे के भीतर कैद करके 20 सेकंड का, 30 सेकंड का वीडियो बना सकते हैं? क्या उसका फोटोग्राफ्स लेकर वेबसाइट पर डाल सकते हैं, ताकि उस गांव की उस तपस्या का सम्मान हो सके और वो रिकॉर्ड यहाँ पर आ सके कि नहीं, देश में ऐसी चीजें भी हमारे पास हैं जो पुरातन काल से चलती आ रही हैं। मैं पहनावे की बात करता हूँ, मैं भोजन की बात करता हूँ, मैं अंग वस्त्र की बात करता हूँ, मैं अपने अस्त्र शस्त्र की बात करता हूँ। अगर हम चोलवंशी राजाओं के देश के बाहर संस्कृति को पहुंचाने की बात करते हैं, जिसकी मैंने आज समीक्षा की है मौसम प्रोजेक्ट मौसम के नाम पर, कि हम जलवायु के आधार पर जहाजों से जाकर दुनिया देश से बाहर हमने संस्कृति को पहुंचाया, चाहे वो हिंदुज्म हो और चाहे वो बुद्धिज्म हो। हमारी सनातन परंपरा को पहुंचाने वाले लोग ऐसे 39 देश है जहां पर वो पहुंचा है। क्या उनके साथ में हमारे आदान प्रदान हो सकते हैं? वियतनाम ने अपनी धरती पर एक पत्थर लगा के रखा है कि हमको कपड़े को पहनाना भारत ने सिखाया है। हमें लगता है कि ये आदान प्रदान की प्रक्रिया इस सप्ताह का मूल मंत्र होनी चाहिए। हमारा प्रोजेक्ट मौसम उसी सांस्कृतिक यात्रा के आदान प्रदान का एक बेहतर दस्तावेज बनेगा, और मुझे लगता है इस हेरिटेज के इस हिस्से में हमें इसलिए उसको शामिल करना चाहिए कि जब मैं प्रोजेक्ट मौसम की बात करता हूं तो 2000 साल के पहले की परंपरा से लेकर 1000 साल तक पहले की परंपरा का एक वो समन्वय हम आने वाली पीढ़ी को देना चाहते हैं, तो वास्तव में हेरिटेज है। तब शायद संस्कृतियां पैदा नहीं हुई थी, तब हमारे पास में वो सिविलाइजेशन था। मैं जिस जगह से आता हूं, मैं नर्मदा का परिक्रमावासी हूँ। हम उस नर्मदा मानव की जब कल्पना करते हैं, मैं जो लोग एक्सपर्ट हैं मैं उनसे कहूंगा कि हमारे यहाँ पर होशंगाबाद जिले के हथनोरा से वो फॉसिल प्राप्त हुआ था। जब फ्रांस ने उसकी उम्र तय की तो 75,000 वर्ष है। 75,000 वर्ष वो है एक महिला का स्केल, लेकिन उसको नर्मदा मानव कहा जाता है। तो कुछ शब्दों की ऐसी विसंगतियां भी हमारे सामने आती है। समय के साथ इन्हें भी ठीक करने की जरूरत है। मैं इस उद्घाटन को विधिवत करते हुए, शुरुआत करते हुए मैं शुभकामनाएं देता हूं कि जितने लोग इस परिचर्चा में भाग लेंगे, जितने लोग इस संवाद में भाग लेंगे, उसका दस्तावेज बनेगा। अगर आपको लगता है कि भारत सरकार को देना चाहिए, वैसे तो ASI के अधिकारी उसको नोट डाउन करेंगे, लेकिन मैं आप सबको खुले तौर पर आमंत्रित करता हूं कि जरूर अपने सकारात्मक सुझाव दीजिए। हम सब मिलजुल कर भारत के यश और गौरव को दुनिया के पटल पर पहुंचाएंगे। मैं फिर से वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज वीक के लिए आप सबको शुभकामनाएं देते हुए अपनी बात को समाप्त करता हूं। भारत माता की जय।
धन्यवाद सर। I would like to formally thank our chief guest, Shri Prahlad Singh Patel, Honorable Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, Government of India, Member of Parliament from Damoh Lok Sabha constituency in Madhya Pradesh. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद sir for specifically making us see the connection between heritage and culture, which is slowly being forgotten. You made us rethink the very idea of heritage. I would really like to thank you, and मैं आपका धन्यवाद इसीलिए भी करना चाहूंगी कि आपने हमें काश फाउंडेशन को बहुत प्रोत्साहन दिया, and thank you so much for collaborating with us for the organization of this World Heritage Week. Thank you so much, sir. For those of our audience who have joined us late, we are in the midst of the inaugural event of the World Heritage Week, and on behalf of Kaash Foundation, I would like to welcome you all. Today is the first day of the World Heritage Week that is being organized by the Center for Academic and Professional Development, Kaash Foundation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. I would also remind the audience to please fill in the feedback form, which is available in the description. Moving on to identifying some of the key points as far as the past activities of Kaash Foundation are concerned, I would like to draw your attention to the very first academic endeavor of Kaash Foundation, which was the first international multidisciplinary conference on transition and transformation, cities in life, literature and culture, Mumbai chapter, which was organized on the 17th and 18th of February 2020. It was held in collaboration with Mumbai University's Institute of Distance and Open Learning at the Pirosha Mehta Bhavan located in the university's Kalina campus. The grand success of the first international conference led Kaash Foundation to organize its second international event, which was a symposium on concerned complexities and dialogues in religious philosophy on 12th May 2020. It was held in collaboration with Universitas Hindu Indonesia, the Archaeological Institute of Afghanistan, the Indian Council of Historical Research, New Delhi, Ekam Foundation, Mumbai, and the Center for Study of Society and Secularism, Mumbai. On 25th May, Kaash Foundation organized the third international conference on colossal and collateral challenges for sustainable environment in collaboration with the University of Ottawa, Canada, and in association with the Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, Global Knowledge Academic, Spain, and St. Andrews Center for Philosophy and Performing Arts, Mumbai. On 8th June 2020, Kaash Foundation organized its sixth international conference on emerging trends of research in art, aesthetics, and social sciences, and the collaborators for this conference were Global Knowledge Academic, Spain, and Sagar University, Madhya Pradesh. Kaash Foundation's seventh international endeavor was the Chief Executive Officer webinar on strategy to strengthen industry and academia collaboration in emerging economy. It was conducted in collaboration with Mumbai University's Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial Management Studies on 12th June 2020. On 21st August 2020, Kaash Foundation also organized its 8th international webinar on startups in India, current scenario. In order to enhance teaching, learning, and provide opportunities for academic excellence to faculty and educational institutions, Kaash Foundation has also initiated faculty development programs. The first international faculty development program on research methodology in history was organized from 25th May to 30th May 2020. Based on the theme of historians' compass and tools, the first FDP was held in collaboration with the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Government of Maharashtra. From 3rd August to the 9th August, Kaash Foundation also organized its second international faculty development program on pedagogy of teaching history in collaboration with St. Xavier's Institute of Education, Mumbai. Thereafter, the third international faculty development program on emerging approaches and trends in the English language and literature was organized from 24th August to 29th August 2020 in collaboration with English Language Teachers Association of India. Apart from this, Kaash Foundation's Kaash Swasthya Manthan under its health vertical has organized 17 health webinars on various topics of naturopathy, Ayurveda, immunity levels, breastfeeding, etc. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Kaash Foundation has worked extensively to offer relief to migrants and has worked at the grassroots level to offer all possible relief to people in need. I would like to now call upon I would now like to call upon Dr. Geeta Ajit, who is the Joint Director of Education and Coordinator of the Center for Academic and Professional Development, to give more insights on the center and maybe share her views with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anamika. Thank you so much for your welcome address. To all our viewers, once again, a warm welcome to all our esteemed guests on this World Heritage Week. There could be no better propitious and auspicious moment for us as we at CAPD prepare to celebrate our Heritage Week under our Heritage Vertical. Let me give you a small brief insight into the formation of CAPD and its aspirations. It was launched on 25th May 2020 by Kaash Foundation, not just to bridge the gap between academic instruction and industry requirement, but also to reach out to those sections of our history and culture which has not been given the importance it deserves. we would like to inform our viewers that we at CAPD are open to working as consultants to find ways to protect and preserve our rich historical past for posterity. We are also prepared to be the catalyst of research and work towards investigation, examination, and exploration in areas to safeguard the monuments of national historical importance. We also wish to serve in the decision-making and policy-making governance for the conservation and preservation of our cultural heritage. We are also prepared to conduct workshops, seminars, and conferences to disseminate the significance and importance for the need for conservation and preservation of our national heritage. We at CAPD sincerely hope that we are given that opportunity to bridge the huge chasm which now exists in this realm of cultural heritage of our nation. At CAPD, we have scholars, academicians, historians, archaeologists, and a huge body of committed youth to work towards our goal and objectives. With this strong force behind us, we genuinely hope we are able to join hands with the community and the governing bodies and pray that together we are able to make the difference to the world around us. Thank you, and I hope all of you enjoy the week-long programs that we hold it before you today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you, Anamika.
Thank you, Dr. Geeta Ajit, for the encouraging remarks and an introduction to CAPD. I would now take the opportunity to invite Dr. Kaash Jadhav, founder and trustee of Kaash Foundation and director of CAPD, that is Center for Academic and Professional Development, to give an introduction to Kaash Foundation and speak on the importance of World Heritage Week. He would also be giving a deliberation on our heritage repositories for the future. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anamika. Good evening to all the respected panelists. Special thanks to Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Swami Vivekananda Center, Colombo, Sri Lanka, Archaeological Survey of India, New Delhi, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and as well as MS Baroda University Department of Archaeology and History for encouraging us, as well as our supporters like Kathik, Four Tables Project, and Nrityodaya. They have also been there to encourage us throughout. In fact, it is believed having no information about past is actually having no roots. It's like tree without a root, for that matter. And culture can never be a luxury, it is always a necessity. So taking a clue of this, Kaash Foundation in fact started looking at the variation of what we can do, what we can engage in. And World Heritage Week in fact happened to be one such occasion where we could perhaps think of getting the galaxy of people. We have performers, we have artists, we have scholars, we have activists, we have academicians, and we have the stakeholders who are out there making the difference. The kind of a work ASI does, in fact, is indeed commendable. The kind of a work which World Buddhist Mission, in fact, is doing in somewhere emphasizing on the policies, on the philosophies of Buddha, and also trying to bring cohesiveness amongst the people in the community is again commendable there. So when we look at World Heritage Week, what exactly is that we are looking at? We are looking at both. We are looking at heritage in the tangible form and heritage in the intangible form. Because when we look at heritage, it primarily emphasizes on our culture. It primarily emphasizes on our past, where we belong to, what is our origin and what is our identity. Because culture, in fact, connects us. It does not separate us. There cannot be any heritage which, in fact, if at all you look at, which has no history of its own. Each heritage structure or monument for that matter, it evolves, it keeps on evolving. What is required is the preservation and the conservation. And that is the area where we many times lack. My small 5 years of career, political career as a municipal councillor in BMC made me realize that on various occasions we do not understand that preserving our culture or cultural heritage is a collective responsibility because the damage is collateral. It took me almost 9 months to get 53 underground water tanks in Mumbai on the role of fire brigade department. 1 year of follow-up, almost a 1 year follow-up with the municipal commissioner, managed an allocation of 5 crores for the heritage structures and maintenance of South Mumbai. 1 year struggle to restore back the lamps on Queen's Necklace at Nanu Drive. Because we cannot rely only on the government agencies, we cannot rely only on ASI. The stakeholders like NGOs, people who stay in the vicinity, in the nearby areas, institutions, especially institutions which are primarily into teaching art, architecture, history, or social sciences. We all have to collectively look into our contribution rather than asking for various policies and its application and execution. I echo the references of Honorable Minister Prahlad Patel as well as Shri Aditya Thackeray when they are out there looking at opinions, feedbacks, suggestions, and they are looking at the trial and errors. I think it is equally our responsibility to support in the cause. It is very easy to criticize and to sit on the fence. But we at Kaash Foundation, and with all support from our collaborators, somewhere we will try to begin that initiative in the due course. So with this, I once again thank you all on behalf of the foundation, to all the collaborators who have been kind enough to stand with us in organizing this kind of an initiative as such. We'll be having a 6 days event series, which Professor Anamika would give you insights on. I'm sure your feedbacks will come to us, and we are planning to compile the reports of all the 7 days because UNESCO has already written to us and they have asked us to submit a detailed report. And the way Honorable Minister Shri Prahlad Patel also mentioned, we'll prepare a proper dossier or report of all the 7 days deliberation and we'll definitely send it to them, hoping that something will come out in a more visible form than mere intellectual. Thank you once again. Over to you, Anamika.
Thank you, sir, for the encouraging and optimistic thoughts that you have expressed on the World Heritage Week, as well as the work that lies ahead of us as members of the foundation. As to all the members of the audience who have joined us late, I once again welcome you to the inaugural event that has basically started off the World Heritage Week celebrations. And the World Heritage Week is an initiative that is organized by Kaash Foundation Center for Academic and Professional Development. And our collaborators are the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. The World Heritage Week is an initiative that spans across 7 days. Today is the inaugural session that you are all a part of. And on the rest of the week also has a number of fascinating events that have been organized. To give you an overview, tomorrow, that is the 20th of November, we have the 9th International Symposium on Heritage from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. On the 21st of November, we have an event called Virasat, which is an evening to celebrate our intangible cultural heritage, something that our speakers have already outlined the importance of. This event would also take place from 4 to 6 p.m. On the 22nd of November, we have the Model UNESCO Youth Summit, which is a youth summit on the lines of the Model United Nations to discuss and deliberate on our tangible and intangible cultural heritage. This would be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On the 23rd of November, we have lined up a quiz competition, an international quiz competition called Khoje Dharohar, and this would be a quiz on the UNESCO World Heritage Sites of the SAARC countries. This would be from 4 to 6 p.m. On the 24th of November, we have the 10th International Symposium on Heritage from 4 to 7 p.m. And on the final day, we would have a historical site visit to Kanheri Caves, Mumbai. This is on the 25th of November from 2 to 5 p.m. I hope that all the audience members are looking forward to being a part of our Heritage Week celebrations day after day. Now we would be moving on to our special guest speakers for the day. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite Dr. Nandini Bhattacharya, who is the Regional Director, Archaeological Survey of India, Science Fort, Mumbai. And I would like to call her, and the title of her deliberation would be The Role of the ASI in Spreading Heritage Awareness in Society. Before I formally invite her, I would also like to thank you, ma'am, for encouraging us and collaborating with us in organizing this week-long program for the World Heritage Week. Over to you, ma'am, please.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm audible to all. A very good evening, especially and respected Honorable Minister for Culture and Tourism, Shri Prahlad Singh Ji Patel, Honorable Minister for Tourism and Environment, Government of Maharashtra, Shri Aditya Thackeray Ji, dear Kaash Yadav Ji of the Kaash Foundation and the entire team of Kaash Foundation, my colleagues from the Archaeological Survey of India, Dr. Rajendra Yadav and the entire team from Mumbai, as well as all other dignitaries and guests present in the panel. The topic on which I am supposed to speak today is about the ASI's role, or the Archaeological Survey of India's role, in spreading the awareness about heritage in the society. As we have been hearing right now from the Honorable Ministers of Government of India as well as Government of Maharashtra, heritage is a concept which cannot be confined only to a particular region or a particular group. The concept of heritage goes across all the societies in the world, goes across all the peoples and group of people in the world. India is indeed a blessed nation that we do have a heritage in all the forms of the words, whether be it intangible or be it tangible heritage. As it happens, when we concise the concept, any concept, to a particular source, to a particular place, it so happens is only a few aspects of that particular concept can be taken care of. In a sense, since the early 18th century, when the entire works of heritage conservation or awareness or knowledge about the heritage started to grow amongst the various colonial powers, there was a constant need of people or of researchers to know more and more about what lies beneath. Now, India has indeed been a blessed nation. Indians have been a blessed people to be aware of the various number of heritage in and around us. Every day we pass through, every day we enact those, every day we practice those. Maybe some are known to us, maybe some aren't. But as the Honorable Minister of Culture, Prahlad Singh Ji Patel said, we do have lot many intangible heritage than the tangible one. In these attempts, the journey of William Jones, who put together all this gamu and all the antiquarians who were researching at those times, in a nutshell, or in a place, or institutionalized the place and collectively called it as the Asiatic Society of Bengal, which was formed way back in 1784. Thereafter started the urge to know more and more about the cultural heritage of India and more about the various types of other heritage places, which makes India the type of place it is. Thereafter started the urge for the British, who were at that time at the helm of the power. They thought that India, being such a powerful country, it definitely requires a central agency which can take care of the various types of heritage present in India, and so that it can be saved for posterity. A lot can be learnt about it from the various types of past experiences of people as well as societies. So there was an urge of detailed archaeological surveying, and for this, there was a post of archaeological surveyor, which was first institutionalized in the year 1861. On the post, Sir Alexander Cunningham was chosen to be the first surveyor of this post, and then the work continued. Now, it had certain limitations. The limitations specifically were that the types of researches or the types of works they were to do were only concerning the northern region of India. Thereafter, it was felt that this should be expanded, the horizon should be expanded to the entire India. And after a lot of deliberations, the Duke of Argyll, the Secretary of States at that time, he proposed that a central department for the archaeological studies should be brought up, and a formal director in the form of Sir Alexander Cunningham, the formal Director General, was appointed in the year 1871, February. Thereafter started the study or the tour of Archaeological Survey of India and its role in playing through the society, through the people. These times passed as and when, because a lot had to be done, a lot had to be understood, a lot had to be taught, a lot had to be researched. The times passed, and soon after, in passing or in this voyage of Archaeological Survey of India, many people they kept connecting to the ASI, and then the ASI's caravan or the ASI's journey or the wagon, it kept on expanding. Very soon now, when we entered into the 20th century, I'm coming straight over to the 20th century because a lot has been started over the 20th century. It was felt that the people in general or the public in general, they are very much interested and very much keen whenever the people from abroad they come to India, they visit India. They are very much eager to know about the Indian monuments, the types of cuisine that we prepare, the types of attires that we wear, and the most important places in their list always tend to be the various monuments which had been protected by the ASI. So it was felt that when the outsiders take so much of interest in all the types of monuments and places that ASI is preserving, why not make it a formal way of reaching out to people in order to get more and more of their participation? Because after all, what is heritage? Heritage is a continuance of the past society's relics or the way the past society lived. So it was felt compulsory that if the people are not very keen on learning upon what the heritage is, let us take the heritage or the concept of that to the people. In this effort, started the India-wide celebrations of a week-long event called as World Heritage Week in the months of November, when usually tourism is in its peak, and this started in the late 80s. Slowly, all were appealed that many other agencies which are actually into the heritage studies or are doing good research works in this field should take up the cause of World Heritage Week, and they should more and more incorporate many people so that people understand the relevance of heritage. They get to interact. There have been interactive sessions. There have been a lot many other things that the ASI or the Archaeological Survey of India keep organizing in this particular week. Apart from this, the ASI also organizes the World Heritage Day on 18th of April, which is an international event, of course. To cut it short and bring it to the present context of our own state of Maharashtra, where the regional headquarters of the Archaeological Survey of India is housed in the Sand Fort, as well as a very important circle of the Archaeological Survey of India, the Mumbai Circle, has been placed. The Mumbai Circle is looking after the entire coastal belt of Konkan, as well as the entire Ratnagiri and the Mumbai part of it. So here we have seen that people have a lot of knowledge about heritage. They are very keen to know about more and more of heritage. And apart from the tangible heritage for which ASI is the custodian, we do have the intangible heritage part, which is covered by the various cultural organizations or the various cultural centers which are under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. They are being taken care of by them, and more ways to inculcate or to incorporate the people in general have been visualized, have been envisaged by the government, by the ASI, as well as told or as indicated by the Honorable Minister of Culture a few while ago. The various types of medium, the various types of panel discussions, etc., with the common people, so that the citizen by themselves know a lot or interact a lot about heritage. ASI has been continuously trying in this effort, has been continuously trying to reach to its people at places in the interiors of the country where excavations are being done. Even there, exhibitions are organized to mark the World Heritage Week every year, because during the months of November, December, the field work usually goes on, and the fields at the fields, definitely the exhibitions are always being held for the local people, and the type of pleasure the local people get to look at all those things which are quite common even in their daily use for their own homes, and which have been retrieved from the excavations. So immediately they connect their link with their ancestors. Similarly, with the conservation part of it, all the types, ASI tries itself to its limits best to take care of more monuments than the 3692, which have been conserved by the ASI, or which are known as the nationally protected monuments or monuments of national interest. Apart from these, ASI is always ready and eager to help people with advices or with the technical support for taking care of more number of monuments, for which is not actually with us. It actually so happens that the number of monuments that ASI is taking care of and the number of monuments the state of Maharashtra is taking care of, which is something just near to 370, it becomes imperative on part of the public at large, or it becomes imperative on the part of the society to understand, and the youth especially, to understand what heritage or what significance do these monuments have in our lives. Just as Professor Jadhav said, we do have this belief, and we firmly, at least the people who are always having heritage on their sleeves, like us, because we live with those, we always we vouch for those, that a person who doesn't know about his roots, who doesn't know about his base, who doesn't know about his past, doesn't know about his roots. And anything which doesn't have a substratum is floatable. So the thing is, for a country to be a self-dependent country, a country to be of great self-esteem, we require to know, the youth require to know what this country is all about. It's not only about the various types of places to roam about. It's not only about the various types of selfie points to go and take the selfies, but it's definitely about a great wealth of such places which we call as heritage places. There is a lot to learn from those. And if there is not something to explore. There is definitely something to conserve and take it ahead for the people, for the youth who are representing our countries outside the nation. There is a story to be told to those people about the country, about the roots, and about the various types of other heritage material or the intangible heritage customs, rites, and rituals of this country. I would like to sum up here, again congratulating the team Kaash, as this has been always ASI's endeavor that more and more number of people in the form of common citizens, common public, and academia, intelligentsia of various places, they come together to take care of the beautiful heritage, whether it is built-in heritage or it is intangible heritage, to take care of that and definitely march ahead for the posterity, preserve it, help ASI in spreading awareness about the heritage, and such types of collaborative efforts with the ASI or with the other academic bodies would definitely fulfill this purpose. We look forward to all this and more. Let me also add here that the Mumbai Circle of the ASI have been hosting a few small exhibitions which are definitely online in these days, and you can visit them on the web page of ASI's Mumbai Circle or on their Facebook page too. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nandini Bhattacharya, for your insightful remarks on the origins as well as the workings of ASI and its significance in spreading heritage awareness in society. I would now take the opportunity to invite our next guest speaker, Dr. Revant Singh, Director, Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka. So may I also request, since we are slightly constrained by time, to keep your comments somewhat brief. My apologies, we are somewhat constrained by time at the moment. I would also like to introduce the title of deliberation for Dr. Revant Singh, and he would be talking on sustainability and intangible heritage of India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Namita. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Honorable Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, Excellency Sri Singh, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Environment and Protocol, Government of Maharashtra, Excellency Sri Aditya Thakurji, esteemed delegates, distinguished scholars, members of the Kaash Foundation, led by very able and my close friend, Dr. Sadhuji, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I go on from Sri Lanka. Friends, on behalf of Swami Vivekananda Culture Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, I extend warm greetings to all of you. It is an honor and privilege to share this platform with Venerable Masanga, esteemed senior political leadership, and eminent scholars from India and different parts of the world. Friends, earlier, as a professor of MD College in Mumbai, and now as a director of Swami Vivekananda Culture Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, I have been trying to promote sustainability and sustainability part of our intangible heritage, which we need to revive today in modern times. If you look carefully, sustainability and sustainable living was in the basic part of our heritage. Today, I have to draw your attention to this heritage with a specific example with reference to the 4.2K event, which happened about 4,200 years back and caused a massive environmental crisis on a global scale. Most English civilizations of the world perished, but our Saraswati Valley civilization, also called Indus Valley civilization, continued to flourish for another 1,000 years. And the reason for this was the sustainable way of living of the Saraswati Valley civilization people, our ancestors. The 4.2 event, beginning at around 200 BC, 2200 BC, lasted till the end of 22nd century BCE. It was a global environment agitation event that caused a global drought. This environmental crisis led to the collapse of the cultures, such as the Old Kingdom in Egypt, the Akkadian Empire in Mesopotamia, the colonial period in the Persian Gulf region, and the Vedic cultures in China. total contrast, during the same period, the Saraswati Valley civilization reached its maturity phase and was at the zenith of its organization. My research highlights that the resilience of this Valley civilization people was due to their sustainable way of life. For example, they focused on ideology and avoided wastage of resources. Yeah. They designed their cities and settlements and set up strict regulatory norms in such a way that their settlements were not crowded, something we are missing today in our cities. They perhaps also had a public distribution system of grains such as the one at the Mohenjo-daro. Such centralized granaries might have been the economic equivalent of a modern state bank, which would have played very important role in the times of bad harvest. Also, almost every house had its own well, bath space, and toilet linked with a drainage system. Brick link drains flushed out water and drained them into stumps, where it was carted away, probably to fertilize the neighboring fields. They also did not waste their resources. There is no evidence of monumental architecture such as a palace or a temple, while other civilizations of the period wasted their resources on these palaces and temples. Also, there are no evidences of propaganda of power such as royal statues, monuments, or rich graves from the period. Even their tools were based on long-term utility. It is interesting to note that though the Saraswati Valley civilization people, it was a Bronze Age culture, most functional tools were made from ceramic, stone, and wood, and not from bronze. Hence, it looks like that their ideology was not led by overconsumption or consumerism. The same is also seen in their burial practices. Elaborate ornaments of precious stones, gold, and silver were never included in their burials. In fact, no royal burials have been found in the civilization. Also, we do not find any evidence of weapons. They did not waste their resources in warfare. Their spread was more cultural in nature. They also focus on high standards of health and hygiene, with focus on wells, toilets, and baths, which could have prevented outbreak of diseases and epidemics. Moreover, there's a little sign of high level of social stratification in their settlements. The cities and settlements share a common patterns of design throughout the civilization. They also had advanced knowledge of hydraulic engineering, which prevented them from floods and also helped them irrigate land in types of crisis such as monsoon failure. Such a system suggests that sustainability was deep-rooted in their socio-economic political institution, and these institutions were based on needs of the people. But if all this was so good, then the obvious question is, why did this Saraswati Valley civilization collapse? In fact, it did not collapse. Change in the course of Indus River resulted in the diversion of tributaries of Ghaggar and Hakra, and over the period of time, the Ghaggar-Hakra river dried up. People migrated to the Ganga-Yamuna valley. The civilization gradually became fragmented into smaller regional cultures referred to as late Harappan or post-Harappan sites. In fact, this was another sustainable strategy. Finally, we see that the roots of self-sufficient village economy started developing in India as a consequence. However, the cultural traits of Saraswati Valley civilization never perished. They survived, and they are surviving even today in the form of art, craft, technology, agriculture, ethos of guild system, which continued and which led to second organization in the early historic period around 600 BCE. If we analyze this in the background of culture ethos of modern Indian villages in modern times, it seems that nothing much has changed. The same spirit of community ideology, avoidance of waste of resources, reuse and recycling of resources, sharing of resources can be seen in rural India even today. Friends, let us dedicate our efforts to our heritage of sustainability and community sharing, rather than consumerism, individualism, or materialism. The middle path shown by Lord Buddha is one of the best sustainable way of life and is the key to all problems of modern world, including conflicts and climate change. Lord Buddha's Dhamma will help us live a fulfilled life and protect our Prithvi as well as Prakriti, the nature, the environment. Let the Dhamma take us away from youth youth within ourselves, youth within our families, youth within our societies, youth between our nations, to the Buddha, the enlightened one. Thanks again for the honor to share this platform with all of you. Dhanyavad, Bahuma Stuti from Sri Lanka.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. May I also remind our audience that Dr. Singh has joined us all the way from Colombo. Thank you so much, sir, for helping us see sustainability in the light of heritage. And that was an integral connection which was pointed out by your talk. I would also like to thank you for encouraging us and collaborating with Kaash Foundation on the organization of the World Heritage Week and the celebrations of the same. May I welcome the audience, those of us or those of you who have joined us late or who may have come in just now. Today is the inaugural event that is basically starting off the World Heritage Week that is organized by the Kaash Foundation's CAPD, that is Center for Academic and Professional Development, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. May I take this opportunity to remind our audience to please fill in the feedback form, that is the link for which is given in the description. Moving on to our next guest speaker for the day, I would like to invite Reverend Nidhankar, President, World Buddhist Mission, and the title that he would be reflecting on is the World Buddhist Heritage. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, you're audible.
Okay, so thank you to Kaash Foundation for inviting on this such a great occasion to discuss about the World Heritage. So I am thankful also to that professor that they joined in this meeting. There will be many research scholars, many experts in the field of heritage. We are also thankful to the Ministry of Culture and Education and Dr. Thackeray to give me a chance to listen about their views about the heritage. There are many scholars, they have given that very nice explanation of the heritage. Heritage is not only the monument. Whenever the people talk about the heritage, they just say, oh, I have this building, I have a Bodh Gaya, and that is a heritage. This is not only that heritage, because which nicely explained by our predecessors, and they have explained that everything that is connected with the art, architecture, language, literature, our music, our paintings, all are included in the heritage. And not only that one. Yes?
Sir, I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but sir, your video is switched off. If you could switch that on, perhaps that was inadvertently switched off. So I just thought I will remind you.
Because there should be, I don't know. So you have to control from there.
Oh, I see. I will just.
I have not.
Okay, we'll just look into it. So please continue.
Just see there, because maybe some switch is there, because I cannot control anything from here.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'll look into it.
So hosting has all the power to on the videos and the audios. So
sure,
I'm sorry.
Sure. No, my apologies for the interruption.
If not, I'm sorry, because I'm very far from you. So I'm really sorry. And thank you for the audiences, and sorry for them also because they cannot see me at the moment, but I don't know what happened. So the India's contribution is not only with the buildings or this one architecture. Even as you know, there was a Indian man called Kondinya, who taught there in when we come to the Vietnam, and there in the Vocham script, we got the references that he was credited for giving them a chance how to dress up, because Kondinya was the man to give them how to wear the dresses. So that is also a great contribution of the India. Starting from there, we come in the different countries where India has contributed, not only that in one country, but I think the whole continent is indebted with the Indian contribution and their heritage. When we come to Southeast Asia, then just we start from their neighbor. The first is the Thailand. When you go to the Thailand, then we find Ayutthaya, which is very, very near to the word is Ayodhya, which is well known for the Rama's contribution, as we know in the Ramayana. So that is that one. Then we come, and these areas where comes to the Swarna Bhumi. And so Swarna Bhumi was the place of the golden places. But how much the gold they had, I don't know. But because Swarna Bhumi and Swarnadeep is commonly found in the literature. So whenever we see the history of any country, we have two sources. The first one is the literary sources, the another is the archaeological sources. So when the literary source is confirmed with the archaeological sources, we take it as a true history. So we find both things in that one in literatures of the Cambodia. Then where we find the Angkor Wat, where that is also a very, very important monument, not only from the point of Buddhism, but also from Hinduism, and some statue of Jaina architect also we found there. So this is on that, and you know that the Cambodia, the earlier name was the Cambos, and not only that, the Cambodia, the place was ruled by the Indian rulers, and their names are still found on the roads of the Cambodia. When you drive in Cambodia, you will find Jayavardhan, Rajvardhan, and the Vardhan families. They used to rule in that. Then from there we come to Indonesia. Indonesia we found a Borobudur. Then the similar pattern is there. Same like the Cambodia's Angkor Wat, we find in the Indonesia, Borobudur. This temple again, they give you the Hindu mixed with the Buddhist and the Jaina temple. Because we cannot bifurcate all these things separately. Wherever there is a Buddhist statue, we find the Jaina statues, and their Hindus are already there. So these are the things that makes it a very clear that the India's contribution is too much in every field of the world, which is the hereditary, we can say. When we come to the Vietnam, we found the Vocham script, which is on the 4th century AD, and it has influence of the Sanskrit, that is written in the Sanskrit. So that also said that we can say clearly that not only that buildings, but also about the literary sources, they influence to the Champa, which is the oldest Vietnam. Then nowadays we see that not only these things, there is one thing is very important, what is the dhyana. And now we are doing the meditation. Meditation was also penetrated to Japan, where I'm living. There are many Jain temples. So what is the Jain? Now it is becoming very popular in America, in Australia. Also, if you go to many part of the Europe, and then we have in Africa, the Jain is propagating. But what is the Jain is that originally it is the thing which is, we say dhyana, D-H-Y-A-N, dhyan. We take the dhyana, which goes to the China, and a monk, that is the name is Dhamma. So Bodhidhamma is his full name, but Dhammasan is very known. So he brings that for the protection of a temple in China, which is the Shaolin temple. And that Chinese temple was being attacked by the foreigners and the foreign tribes. So the Bodhidhamma taught them a way how to protect themselves, which is now that the Chinese changed the name from Dhyana as the Chang, C-H-A-N-G, Chang. And when the same Chang come from there to Korea, and from Korea it entered to Japan, and which is changed the name as Jain. And so now in the modern time we have the Jain meditation, which is not different than our dhyana, and there the different kind of dhyanas are there. Jain also have different kind of contributions, and it being popular in the all over the world. So Nalanda and education, we become the Nalanda Vaja Center, then many centers, Buddhist centers were there, and their contribution in education cannot be omitted. Then we come to that, so Hindu, Buddhism and Jain, all the three religion gives a contribution in the different field. So that when recently they were talking about the Saptanagari. So I am telling you, not only Saptanagari, if every inch of the India is full of cultural heritage, and when we go in the all over the world, we find some of the contribution of our Indian. So there are many scholars to speak. So I will, in conclusion, we will say that wherever you dig anywhere, then you will find that there is a cultural resource. Because when I even in a small village, I had a chance to dig a place which was the excavation, and along with the ex-Archaeological Survey of India's director, Dr. Bist. So when I was a student in Magad University, Bodh Gaya, so I found that even in a small village of Hajipur, there is a cultural heritage which is based on the Buddhism, also element of Hinduism. So I think that every inch of India has something cultural heritage part, and we can be very thankful to be an Indian. Even in Japan, we are regularly giving them the teaching still how to wear the Indian sari, how to cook the Indian food. So those are the things. So in conclusion, the coins, the art, architecture, culture elements like music and paintings, dresses, arms, ammunition. So all these things contributes to our heritage. So please keep our heritage up and try to contribute and help Kaash Foundation also to make more program. I think this is a 1 week program, but it should be more than a month program also, because it should be divided into different chapters, sub-chapters. Then that will be a real establishment of the foundation's work. So with these words, I will close from here, and I hope all these scholars will contribute to a special paper, because on one point there will be many points. And so thank you very much again to Dr. Thackeray and the Director of Archaeological Survey of India, then also Mrs. Bhattacharya and other people, and the most important, the organizer, Dr. Jadhav. So he gave me a chance to speak in front of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And your feedback is well noted. We will definitely try to incorporate all the positive encouragement and suggestions that you have given with regards to preserving our heritage or spreading heritage awareness. I would also like to thank you for encouraging us by being the title collaborator for the World Heritage Week celebration. Um, I would now like to invite our final guest speaker for the day, Shri Bhaskar Natarajan, who is the head programming execution, Tata Strive, and he would be reflecting on securing future by sustaining heritage, a youth empowerment perspective. Over to you, sir.
Hi, is my audio coming out clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister and other dignitaries who spoke before me for the day. It's a wonderful initiative by Kaash Foundation. Thank you, Dr. Jadhav, for giving me this opportunity. When we discuss about heritage, our mind goes to the past, and it's important for us to also think about future and youth, the young population. We are all familiar with demographic dividend, how India has a young aging population which is ready to join the workforce. And one of the reports says that every month, nearly 1 million youth in India turn age of 18, and getting them jobs, helping them to get a livelihood is a challenge for a country of our size. I just want to share a small PPT. Is it visible now?
So we cannot see the screen as of now.
Okay, just 1 second. Apologies, I'm just trying to from other device. Let me know, please. How about now?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. The screen is visible, and so is the PPT.
Okay. Okay. So the topic which I am happy to share and talk about is securing future by sustaining heritage. Youth empowerment perspective. I've been spending more than 2 decades of my professional experience with youth, especially skill development, and this is my take on this topic. And I know we are running short of time, so I'll just keep it really to the point on what are the key areas where I want to share my views on. There are 4 parts to this presentation. One is let's explore for a few minutes on why heritage. When a large population of our youngsters are and the families are experiencing hunger, how do we expect them to think about our past heritage and build awareness and so on? This is a huge, humongous challenge. And also, many may ask why think about past. We'll talk about building a future. The second part we'll touch upon briefly on what is heritage. What does heritage mean? Is it the monuments which are World Heritage monuments according to UNESCO, the 38 monuments, or is it according to ASI? There are so many ways that we can preserve our tradition and heritage. We'll talk about that. And the third part is on how do we preserve this? How do we sustain our future as well when we talk about building the structures? And finally, who is this for? I'm arguing the case for youngsters who need this more than any other population. So according to UNESCO, we have more number of heritage monuments, and we stand at sixth position across the globe with 38 monuments. It's a very rich culture, rich past that we have, And it's very important for us to understand this part. How do we carry forward from here on? Not only this, it also a home for 10 biogeographical zones and 26 biotic provinces. It's really, really rich in diversity, and we are sitting on a small percentage of land mass, but which is really, really rich in diversity. And not only that, there is a network of biosphere reserves, heritage, memory of the world. All of these we have, a contribution to make to the world history. So, what are we talking about, and how do we preserve this? How do we make this shift? According to me, currently it's more about passion and less on professionalism and paisa, which is another word for money. It's very important for us to talk about professionalism and money, because that's where the livelihood generation would happen. That's where more funding would come for this sector, and we can talk about a rich heritage of the past going into the future. So with that, I just want to bring all of our attention to the recent report published by Niti Aayog panel on 10th of June. Very rich document with lots of information on our past, and some good suggestions on how do we take it forward to the future. This is where the youth empowerment perspective comes into play. And there is a lot of positivity and optimism in this report. While we are in a pandemic situation, we need to look at it from a virtual lens as well. And we will talk about this. And the main recommendation is how can we make each heritage site a profit center? How do we generate revenue? How do we ensure there is an ecosystem, not only the tourism part, but also food and beverage, the local artisans, crafts, all of these put together? How can we make it a unified, integrated, seamless experience for someone who is visiting that site? It could be an Indian, or it could be someone from outside the country. That's the key part of this report. Where the professionalism would come from, my humble opinion is we need to create lots of awareness right from the school system. How do we make it happen? Every year we can include certain competitions and nationwide awareness campaigns. For example, the recent one, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. My daughter is also participating through her school, and while we were working together on this project, I learned a lot. I was really surprised at the kind of diversity and richness our country possess. And I have traveled in many countries outside India, and I realized that I need to spend more time in the country now after working with her on that project. At a very young age, impressionable minds, when we create awareness and education, I'm sure our youngsters will become more empowered, and they would speak about our country and our heritage with a lot of pride. And that's where I think we should begin our journey. Skill building, again, this is a disparate system to my understanding. When I speak to various professionals in this area, they all say that the certifying body is very different. The curriculum and training providers are in a different sphere, and the licensing authority, even for a tourist guide or a heritage tourist guide or a mason, all these are disparate. And I think we need to bring in a unified system that would focus on skill building of our youth. And when they know more about the heritage of the past, when they know that they can work on it, whether it is a heritage mistri who restores a site, a limestone based or any kind of artwork, even the fresco paintings, restoring it requires a lot of skill. And this is something we need to focus on. Not only that, even getting master trainers identified, encouraged, more and more of them should come forward to train our youth. And this is something ecosystem we could definitely bring together. Efforts are on the way. I see many schemes working in their own silos. We need to bring them together. That should be our focus when we celebrate World Heritage Week in India. Then upskilling, reskilling, upgrading existing talent. Talent is available in our country in pockets. We need to find a way to get them together, gamify their learning so that they actively participate and learn from our past in terms of skill building of youth for livelihoods, and then incorporate those learnings into these training programs. And the last one, very important, quality assurance on the services provided by such licensed, certified, trained workforce. This again would require a approach where local mentors, district-wide networks, hub and spoke model need to be brought in. We need to have celebration of heritage skills and professions in various state and national level platforms. That would bring in professionalism, the much required P in this entire segment. And the very important part is the funding. Where would the funding come from? And the working group also observed that the key challenge is in conservation and how do we develop these heritage sites. There are so many temples of historic importance. When somebody posts a picture on Facebook and articulate what are the key features, and those many years ago, how did they bring that stone which is not even available in the neighboring districts? It still puzzles many experts. They have their own theory, and youngsters participate in the discussion, and then the discussion stops there. How do we take it forward? How do we make not just the government as a funding mechanism, or UNESCO kind of international organizations or NGOs as a funding mechanism? How do we bring in private players? How do we bring in investors who could definitely take a return out of this? One of the mechanism which is being experimented is how do we create bonds, development bonds, skill development bonds, where a risk investor would come in with money and dictate what are the outcomes they want and take the return as per the outcomes achieved. They pay for the outcomes. So this is something we could definitely explore, and I think it will go a long way when we tap multiple sources of funding. You may ask, isn't it happening currently? Yes, it's happening currently. One such example is this Adopt a Heritage. Though a slow start, many debates are happening on the internet and even in forums, whether it is good to privatize the maintenance part of this heritage sites, or these are national pride, we should take care. Again, it goes back to the question of funding. Everything is very expensive, and it's important for us to preserve, and it should provide a return and revenue generation for future. Only then we would be able to take a bold step forward. This is one such example which I came across, Monument Mitras. Many more such vehicles need to be identified and pushed forward as a country. The next part is again who would benefit and who is the beneficiary for this entire ecosystem for push. It's youth. And why youth? As I said in the beginning, nearly 1 million youth are turning age of 18 every month. That means we are under pressure as a country to provide them meaningful livelihood for close to 10 to 12 million youth every year. That means those many jobs or those many entrepreneurs need to come out and to fulfill this requirement. And when you look at globally, we are a young country, and this poses a big challenge, both formal sector and informal sector. Heritage profession and this area gives us an alternate avenue and an allied ecosystem. For example, if you have an integrated ecosystem as we envision in many other countries, where there is a hop on, hop off kind of a system of a bus transport, where a tourist who comes to a particular city can move from one site to another seamlessly. Technology would enable us with a pass, and they can move around, and they can have an audio guide, multilingual capability, and it gives a very good experience. And the end of it, there is a souvenir or memorabilia economy as well. The local artisans would be able to sell their goods, and they would also know customer preferences. Virtually we could display, and even now recently we come across many reports, virtual tourism is picking up because of pandemic, and these are things that we could explore to empower youth. Now, talking about is it possible? Is it a reality? Yes. I came across a case study in Yemen where UNESCO has funded a local initiative called Cash for Work. And it's a wonderful initiative where nearly 4,000 urban youth are employed in a conflict-ridden environment. It started in September 2018. It will go on till August. And whatever reviews I have read, local youth population has benefited a lot, and it has got a trickle down effect on the economy as well. Not only they got to learn how to restore these heritage structures, but also they are making a livelihood. And there is a gender element as well. Women are returning back to workforce, and this is a wonderful demonstration of how we can create a sustainable livelihood option for youth through heritage profession. Then my last part of the talk is on how do we create a success formula. I came across with a 4T model. This is something I have put together after talking to so many professional experts in this area. I don't claim to be an expert in this heritage space, but my experience in livelihoods and my experience in working with youth, this is something I feel we could come out with. One is the tradition part, where arts, crafts, hyper local solutions need to be brought in. I'm sure many of you might have come across a advertisement campaign a couple of weeks back where a huge multinational company came out with an algorithm using technology where a neighboring or a local tailor or a sweet shop owner or a watchmaker, they were featured on this ad on Facebook. If you are logging in from your PIN code, whoever is neighboring professionals and local artisans in your PIN code, they would be featuring on the video. It's so customized, hyper customized. This is something future I'm seeing. More and more advertisers and marketers would come together to make hyper local market a reality. This is what is going to be the future. Tourism, again, an integrated approach, as I mentioned earlier, not only within India, even across Southeast nations. The speaker who spoke before me spoke about many Indian kings have ruled Southeast Asian countries, and they have created so many monuments and artifacts. And there is an integrated approach not only within India, even across various countries we could create, and that will be a seamless experience for a tourist. And all this is possible through technology platform. Whether it is a supply of artifacts from our local artisan, or customer preferences and choices known to them, which goes as a design input for creation of more such artifacts. All of this is possible. There are many examples in the market right now. Wakai, which is again a known entity for me, they try and support local women who create such wonderful artifacts online, and there is demand from other countries to get that. So likewise, this third T technology platform can become a big differentiator in taking our local heritage rich culture to a global level. And the last one is on the talent. As I mentioned earlier, we need to codify the tacit knowledge. Many experts are there in this heritage archaeology and architecture area. However, that knowledge resides in their head. If you have to pass it on from one generation to another, there are many efforts happening currently which needs to be accelerated. It's not enough. The pace needs to grow further. For example, if you want to know more about Red Fort or Taj Mahal or any other monument, there are audio guides now being prepared with the help of experts, and that can be made available multiple languages, European and other languages, even within India, and that would become a revenue generation and youth empowerment vehicle. Similarly, authenticate such professionals by way of a certification, so that they are very acceptable by the customer community, and the data and fact that they share is verified. It's not fiction or any fake news. that will be detrimental to the entire industry. And last one, very important, livelihood focus. It's not just for entertainment purpose, but it should provide a meaningful livelihood for all those who are involved. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your joining in this conversation. I wish all the best to Kaash Foundation for making this a wonderful initiative, and it's very important for all of us to understand that this is something we all need to invest our future in. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful visual representation and some very, very pragmatic suggestions that you offered on securing heritage from the point of view of sustainability. We are now moving to the valedictory section of our inaugural event, the day one of the World Heritage Week celebrations. For the valedictory remarks, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Shri Ashwini Saxena, CEO, CSR GSW Foundation. Sir, may I invite you to give us your valedictory remarks?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Kaash Foundation, to invite me on this forum, and let me compliment Bhaskar for such a wonderful presentation. Bhaskar, it's a personal request. I would like to have a copy of your presentation if you would kindly share it.
Sure,
I would like to touch upon a few things, and I'll be very brief because this is a valedictory note. As JSW Foundation, we've been into heritage protection for quite some time. The cultural complex of Hampi Temple Complex, in fact, was awarded the UNESCO award. We've done a lot of restoration work in Kuldhara, in Jaisalmer, and also the synagogue in Mumbai, which is one of the best synagogues of the Jewish community in India. So a lot of interest we already have in I would say heritage, but I would like to open up this dimension, a little bit more in terms of, touching upon what is heritage for us. Something is heritage when we own it. We call it as our heritage when we have a sense of pride for it, when we have a sense of ownership around that, and that ownership comes from the sense of pride and the sense of belongingness and self-respect towards it. And I think that element of self-respect towards our own culture, our cultural heritage, I think that's a significant phenomena on which a lot of work still needs to be done in my limited personal viewpoint. And the second element that I wanted to bring upon is that cultural heritage or heritage per se or culture per se is not just about human beings and their buildings, as everybody else, all the experts have been saying, but it's a much bigger connect between the flora fauna and us, and the environment around us, and that opens up a whole range of things that we need to take cue from what the two honorable ministers said in the opening sessions, where one of the honorable ministers touched upon that whether we look at heritage as an impediment for future growth or whether we look at heritage as something on which we need to build upon further. I think all of us have seen great examples across the globe, and our own heritage. I come from Rajasthan, from Jaipur, and I know that we have the examples of living fortresses in Rajasthan, in other parts of the country, in Golconda, for example. These were all living forts. So forts, palaces, heritage sites were our heritage for us today, but they were quite thriving kind of cities where people used to live, and all aspects of their cultural life, were eminently available for people to witness. And I think that's where the key to unlock the potential of these heritage sites also comes in. So heritage cannot be something which is only to be preserved and which is more of a touch me not kind of a thing, but it's something which is much more thriving, more dynamic, and which responds to the new requirements that are emerging in the evolving times. So that's, I think, the second element that I wanted to bring upon. And the third thing that I wanted to touch upon very briefly was that when we talk about heritage, and I think the topic that we have today is of World Heritage, and I think we as a country have always shown, that concept of Vasudev Kutumbakam so clearly visible. Many of our traditions, in terms of livelihood opportunities, Bhaskar, if I may touch upon, like for example, handlooms, or if we talk about, when I worked in Odisha, I found that the traditions of Ikat start right from Gujarat to Odisha to all the way the Southeast Asian countries of Malaysia and Indonesia and Bali, etc. And so it was a cultural connect between these countries, and which also obviously was important from a business point of view. If we look at the entire hand block printing tradition of Rajasthan and MP at least, and I can trace it all the way up to Odisha, it all came from Sindh and Baluchistan, much before these places became separate from us. So in a sense, and we all are aware of the spice route and the silk route, which we have all read in our history books. So culture as a dimension has been a very integral part of human life, and therefore we cannot be relegating it to something as archaic, but something which is very dynamic and thriving for us on a day-to-day basis. And therefore it would have to look at new meanings for itself. It has to evolve without compromising on the posterity that we have, because these are the lessons that we derive from our historical perspectives, from our historical backgrounds. So that's very important, but at the same time, how it gives us lessons and opportunities, to move on and build upon that, I think that's something important. And last but not the least, I would like to say that today, in a society where one of the key dimensions of any culture is about how the society handles inequalities, how the society is able to address the choices between individualism and collectivism. I think these are some of these new questions that have emerged over a period of time, more so with the ever growing youth population that we have in our country, which by its default tendency would always like to question, which is something old and which is traditional. So we'll have to re-look at these questions, and I'm sure the kind of experts, the kind of eminent scholars that we have, if we can start looking at finding out the questions, the answers to these questions, and deciding for ourselves as to what are the community dimensions and what are the society dimensions for us of the culture that we want to take forward. I think that's something which is going to be very important for us. Um uh, Bhaskar touched upon very briefly on the connect between tourism and culture, and I think that's a fantastic example of how uh, the synergy between heritage, culture, and modernity can be actually looked at. And we have fantastic examples in our country, which have taken this forward. So we need to create a framework for such great ideas, and we need to put them together so that that becomes a good template for emulation across all states. As one of the honorable ministers was saying, and some of our earlier speakers were also saying, every place where we dig it up, we will come across with something of cultural importance, of importance in terms of heritage. Uh, how much we take pride in it, how do we not just preserve and conserve it, but also conservation in a more dynamic process? How do we take it forward? How do we use technology for it? I think those are the key areas where a lot of work can be done, and it would be privileged to learn from the experts of Kaash Foundation and the other eminent speakers here how we can take it forward. Thank you so much for inviting me on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The valedictory note was given by Shri Ashwini Saxena ji. He is the CEO of CSR JSW Foundation. With that, we have almost come to an end of the inaugural event that has kick-started the World Heritage Week celebrations. This is an initiative organized by the Kaash Foundation, Center for Academic and Professional Development, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and to the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. May I now invite architect Mildred Jones, Joint Director Heritage of the Kaash Foundation, to deliver the vote of thanks and the concluding remarks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anamika. I, Architect Mildred Jones, on behalf of the Kaash Foundation, would like to extend our thanks to Mr. Michel Rosler, Director, World Heritage Center, UNESCO, and Ms. Jyoti Ozagrahar, Deputy Director, World Heritage Center, UNESCO. We would also like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Prahlad Singh Patel, Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, Government of India. Our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Shri Aditya Thackeray, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Environment and Protocol, Government of Maharashtra, India. Dr. Rajendra Yadav, Superintending Archaeologist of the Mumbai Circle, and Dr. Nandini from ASI. Dr. Revant Vikram Singh, Director, Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Sri Lanka. Dr. Nandini Bhattacharya Shahu, Regional Director, ASI Mumbai. Mr. Bhaskar Natarajan, Head Program Execution, Tata Strive, India. Reverend Medhankar, President, World Buddhist Mission, Japan. Our valedictory speaker, Mr. Ashwini Saxena, CEO, JSW Foundation. Dr. Pratap Panikar, Department of Archaeology and History, MS Baroda University. Dr. Manjiri Thakur from JJ School of Art and Kathik. Architect Frank, founder of the Four Tables Project, Himachal Pradesh, India. Dr. Jayashree Rajagopalan, Director, Rityodaya, the Academy of Performing Arts, Mumbai. And Dr. Avkash Jadhav, Sir, Founder Trustee, Kaash Foundation, and Director of CAPD. Last but not the least, we would like to thank all our viewers and all our well-wishers for extending their best wishes in all our endeavors. Thank you. Over to you, Anamika.
I hope the speakers as well as the audience had a wonderful day one with the World Heritage Week 2020. Just to remind you once again, tomorrow we would be having the 9th International Symposium on Heritage from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It would be a session that would be graced by plenary speakers such as Dr. Esther Schmidt, Architect Frank Schlittman, Ms. Bindu Urgodavate, and Mr. Alisher Begamato. And some of the titles of deliberation include Heritage, Past and Future, Historic Houses and the Digital Turn, Concepts and Strategies for Rural Spaces, Finding Balance Between Traditions and Modernity, World Heritage of Sri Lanka, Accomplishments and Issues Through 4 Decades, Cross-Cultural Connections Between the Northern India and Sojiana as reflected in the artifacts unearthed from Kafir Kala in Samarkand. Please remember that this session also would be live streamed on YouTube. I hope that that the audience would be joining us for the session that's going to take place tomorrow and through the week. Please remember to fill in the feedback link that is available in the description. This was the first day of the World Heritage Week celebrations organized by Kaash Foundation Center for Academic and Professional Development in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Department of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Survey of India, Government of India, Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, High Commission of India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, World Buddhist Mission, Japan, and the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. I, Dr. Anamika Purohit, a team member of Kaash Foundation, signs off from the first day of the World Heritage Week celebration.